Erykah Badu's Incense. Not talk about, Punkash, Mama Jones. I ain't talk about none of that. And I called it Badussy Discipline because initially, myself and my co-host today, who I'll be introducing in a second, we initially were like, yeah, we should do an episode about dick discipline. And then I said, you know what? Everybody could use a little sexual discipline. So, Badussy Discipline, booty, dick, pussy. This is probably one of the most risque ones I had. Well, for now at least, starting out with this podcast. But no matter how you have sex, no matter your gender identity, no matter where you fall on the masculine or feminine energy spectrum, this applies to you. All right. So, because it applies to you. Because some people, a lot of us, just be throwing around, and we don't even be thinking about anything other than, mostly people are thinking about STDs, contracting an STD or unplanned pregnancy or something like that. But again, as I stated when I first started this podcast, I myself have walked along a very spiritual path, one that is very African-centered, specifically within the Yoruba tradition. And so I look at a lot of things spiritually now in a way that I never did before. So people ain't thinking about energy. People ain't thinking about where these people been that they laying down with for the first time or the 50th time. You don't know what kind of spiritual monkey people got on their backs. None of that. So I want to talk about that. So now to my guest co-host today, Robyn Ransome, aka Earthy Hood Joint. She is I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
Introduce me.
Oh, goodness. All right. She is a holistic health practitioner with a focus on mental health, a straight shooter. She is from the Bronx. She might rob you. Oh. And her direct roots touch back into the Carolinas as well as St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands. So, all that means is we're gonna have a lot of laughs and we're gonna drop a lot of science on y'all, a lot of gems, all of that. What is that? Peroxide?
Peroxide.
She going? Okay. People who have vaginas, all right, especially if you have sexual intercourse with people who have penises. You see, I'm trying to be politically correct here. I ain't trying to keep it super.
Anybody who has a vagina, your penis
yes,
off at any time. So
yes.
If you're having sex with a man, a woman, or whoever,
if you got a vagina, she got some stuff for you to know so you can keep it right and tight.
Not a medical doctor. I'm not. But yes.
All right. People be people be following the advice
of the Instagrammers and those people.
Yes, those people on the internet who be, posting the memes and everything. So I'm pretty sure what you got to say is way more on point and legit than them. All right, so let's jump right into it. So, like I said, initially we were going to just talk about dick discipline, right? And I wanted to even expand upon that to people who are masculine. So that goes for not only male identified people. Look at me really trying to be politically correct here. But I have to be because then I'd be a hypocrite because I am a transgender man. But if you are a masculine identified person, so whether that is you are a natal male, you were born a male and you still identify as such, or if you are a woman who identifies as a masculine identified woman, whatever you into as far as sex, but typically people automatically think about AGs, doms, studs, butches, whatever the terminology is for a masculine identified lesbian in your part of the world. This is really for those three groups. Men.
He, me, and her.
What'd you say?
For the she, her.
Yeah, she is here for the feminine energies. I'm a rep for the masculine energy. So, okay, dick discipline, that applies to, again, natal males, lesbian women or even bisexual women who might be read as studs, butches, doms, AGs, again, wherever you are in the world, whatever that term is that you know, as well as transgender men who are more on the masculine side of things as well. A lot of us be out here just throwing it around, just trying to get them numbers up, get them numbers because we think that's what we're supposed to do, and not even realizing how. And I thought about this one day when I came to the conclusion that like I need to start watching porn because I was really getting disappointed at just seeing how many men are just out here just throwing it around. It's like, dude, why is it that you are so consumed? Why is it that we are so consumed with getting these numbers? I know society has a part to play in this and us thinking that, well, yeah, in order to show that you are an experienced and desired person, you have to sleep with this one, that one, and the third as a man or as a masculine person. All these different, you got to sleep with all these different women, at whatever the cost, no matter what the emotional cost is to them. But as long as you got your numbers up, you got all the hoes, you got all the bitches, then it's all good. And I'm like, nah, that's not cool because essentially, especially as a natal male, when you just skeeting everywhere, like, is you're definitely doing yourself more of a disservice energetically, for a number of reasons. One, you are giving yourself away in a way that you aren't really respecting. You're not truly respecting the power that you have, and I don't mean power in terms of dominance. I mean power as in the man who you are, the manhood that you stand in, the manhood that essentially, it's what draws the feminine energy to you, and so I think it's really important for people to recognize that, like, just to be throwing it around just to say you got your numbers up, but not even realizing the energy that you're putting out and just essentially wasting, is hurting you, intrinsically. You're not able to follow through on as many things as you may desire. You may think you are. You might have a couple dollars. You might be looking good, smelling good, things like that. You might have a decent job or however it is that you get your money. But if you really sit down and think about where it is you are within yourself, your thought processes, things that you have yet to deal with, a large part of that is because you're just giving away your life force. You're just giving away your energy. And again, I would apply this as well to other masculine energies, other masculine identified people, whether we're talking about lesbian women or we're talking about transgender men. It's not always about how many hoes you got or how many women you got. It's not. And I'm not even one to call women hoes these days. Women, sister, whatever. But it's about you knowing how to use that energy in a way that is helpful to you, and that's whether or not you're single, whether you are in a relationship, whatever the case may be. So I'll start there. So, Robyn, what do you have to add?
I was gonna answer you to finish. I feel like who was raised by. I saw the behavior, and for me, I think about discipline sex, and I'm gonna say this, and many people may be upset, but it's just the truth. It's a truth and opportunity. I feel like men are promiscuous. Some men, not all men. Some of them were tampered with. And
Tamper with meaning
they were either raped, molested, or just fondled as young men by women and men. So they're leading with their sex, cover up the trauma moving forward. Just like with women who are promiscuous. And I could put myself in that category because I was tampered with. Some of us lead with sex. Some of us think that that's our only way of getting affection and attention. And I think men do the same thing, but it's not, voiced or vocalized because it's a taboo. Like, it's embarrassing. It's shameful. Like a man being molested, a man being raped, a man being touched. So we don't look at that as women. We just say, oh well, he's supposed to have women. He's supposed to be able to sow his royal oats. Like that's nothing. A man could ask me my body count, and I tell him, oh, I could be like, oh, I've slept with 50 men, and I could ask him his body count, and he could say that he's slept with 100 women. I'm not pure, but he still is. I have 50, he had 100.
Okay, so let me ask you this, as a devil's advocate question. Mm-hmm. How would Robyn of today and Robyn of yesterday feel or look at a man who came to you and said, they've only had, a few sex partners? And I mean by a few, I mean under 10, maybe like 5 or something. How would you feel? Though the two Robyns that have existed as an adult.
So Robyn, the past Robyn would look at him like, what? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, it's something wrong with you. Because in my mind, I'm thinking that a man is supposed to be promiscuous, or he's supposed to have other women involved. Like, but this Robyn is like, okay, I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that. Like, body count doesn't matter to me as long as we go get tested and all of that other stuff. Like, your body count is your body count. At this point in my life, your body count is your body count. Back then, like, body count was just like, I didn't really have views on it, but then I did have views on it. I was judging you inside. I wasn't telling you. I was inside, I was judging you, but outside, I was just like, oh, okay. But inside, I was like, this nigga's a whore.
So, okay, so you really did have an issue with when men hit you with the high body count.
Yeah, because that means that you don't even listen. Before I became this being that I am right now, I did judge people on their body counts, of course, because I felt like if you could sleep with 100 women, then you don't have no respect for yourself. You don't care. Mm-hmm. And you have relations with these 100 women, no, but you giving your dick to these 100 women. So that means that you could just give it to whoever. And that means that I have to be careful with how I interact with you sexually. Because I don't want to have an STD that I can't get rid of. I don't want to take medication. Secondly, I don't want to have your kid. And third, it's like, he's for everybody. He's for the streets.
He's for the streets.
So you can't, I'm not taking him seriously. The same way he wouldn't take me seriously, I'm not taking him seriously. And men don't think about that. Like, men think like, oh, so what if I had sex with all these women? Like, if I ask her to be with me, if I ask her to be my woman, if I ask her to be my wife, she's still gonna be with me. Nah, some of us don't want to be with you. Your body count is too high. Too high.
Okay, so I think that sounds like a call for, hey, if the body count is too high, you ain't got to sleep with old boy. No. Like, you're not obligated to accept the fact that somebody has a high body count. Now, I don't know how many men actually how many masculine people have high body counts, how many are lying, how many talk about their body counts. But I know it is a badge of honor when you have a high body count. So
for men, it's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Huge body count. But for us, it's like, oh no, I can't wife her. I can't make her my girl. I don't want her to have my children. Why is your dick more precious than my pussy? We both out here willy-nilly and giving it away. So why is your dick better than mine?
So I will say that once upon a time in my youth, my younger years rather, because I definitely started having sex before I was 18, but in my younger years, I was a Rolling Stone. And over time, that stone stopped rolling as fast and as far. But at that time, I don't know, I somehow managed to still not necessarily make a name for myself as like this Rolling Stone. You know what I mean? Somebody's got all the women.
Listen, even when you told me that you was a Rolling Stone, you don't give me that energy that you're a Rolling Stone. Some men literally give off that energy. I have family members who give off that energy like.
Well, you know why? Because I never placed my value in my body count. Like it wasn't that serious to me. Like, you know, there were people around me, men and women, other AGs I might have been hanging out with at the time, who, and even, you know, some women, you know, some feminine women who were encouraging me to have this, just be out there and go at all the women and have all the women and have a roster. I was never really interested in that.
I ain't say have sex with them, but I did
say. Yes, you did tell me have a roster, but I know that was specifically for the purposes of dating, not sex. These people, that was for sex. Like they wanted me to be slaying all the women, and I'm like, I don't really have interest in that because, look, I've had my share of, you know, one night stands. I've had my share of hookups, things like that, and I look back on it now, and I'm just like, I'm thinking, man, I never heard her for real. Why did I do that?
My question to you, as a man, as a trans man, how do you feel? Like, how do you look at that now? How do you look at yourself now, and how do you look at the behavior now?
I look at it because even though I didn't give off the energy that, you know, yeah, I got all the bitches, like, and all of that, my decision to sleep with these different women and the amount of women that I was sleeping with at the time, while some of it was me looking for chasing something else, and yes, filling a void, as well as I mean, low key, yeah, I guess perhaps I was being influenced by my peers and the people around me, my environment. You know, and it seemed like everybody was having sex. It seemed like, you know, that's what you did when you were, you know, in your late teens and your 20s, you know, especially like you're really starting out in the world and moving into an adult life, and you're figuring out your way. And it seemed like that's what you did. You had sex. So I did it because that's what you did, you know. Yeah. And women liked me. So I was like, okay, you seem cute enough. You know, now I did run into I'm gonna save tangy pussy for a little bit later in the conversation because we have to talk about pH levels because, you know, that is something that we talk about quite often. So yeah, we definitely got to talk about tangy pussy later. But, you know, I've had my share of, you know, encounters with tangy pussy. But I mean, that comes with that when you are out here, you know, just like that's all you're thinking about. You know, you a lot of things go out the window. You know, I'm actually glad that I was not born male, rather. I was not born male because I might have a child or two by now, the way I was moving, you know. And again, even though I didn't give off that energy, because again, that isn't what I wanted. I felt I needed to be cool or, you know what I mean? I didn't feel that was necessary. Like half the time you didn't even know who I was talking to or dealing with. Nah, these weren't even prior relationships. It's just it was like clandestine ass meetups and shit, or like I don't know.
You had those sneaky links. That's what it was. It wasn't.
That's what the young kids call it now, sneaky links. Okay, yeah. All right.
The nose, but you know, you ain't really supposed to be doing it, but you're doing it anyway.
Yeah, it was that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us have had sneaky links with people that we knew weren't good for our energy. We knew weren't. So a friend of mine.
Did we know? Did we know?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I knew because my gut told me, but I went against it. I knew. Mm-hmm. So all right, I'm just gonna say this. So probably like 3 years ago, I was interested in this man. We were interested other. And I remember he came over to my place and we ended up in my bed. When I tell you that the energy was so off, it was so off. Like my skin was crawling. I could not sleep. I had to ask him to leave. Like we didn't have any sexual encounter, but I had to ask him to leave because the energy was off. Now later on, I realized why there wasn't a connection between me and him sexually. Yes, we were attracted to each other, but sexually, my body wouldn't even allow me to move forward in that space with him.
Okay.
And I like later on found out that who he really was because I asked the universe to please reveal his true intentions, and it did reveal his true intentions to me. So I completely understand why nothing happened between me and this man. But even before I was listening to my gut, when I was being promiscuous, my gut was telling me, like, first of all, your gut don't even have to tell you. Your pussy is gonna tell you.
Is that easy? Is that easy?
No, like, listen, if you listen, sexual encounters, if you're in a sexual encounter with a man and he's giving you some bomb ass head, and then all of a sudden it's time for the penis, and the pussy dries up like the Sahara Desert, but y'all still have sex. You put the condom on, whatever lubrication is on there, it goes inside, and that's that. But what I'm saying is, when you move from being promiscuous into understanding who you really are as a person, you will understand why your body was doing the things that it was doing.
That made me think about one time when I was in New Orleans. I have a lot of one time in New Orleans moments in my life. Uh-oh. little child alert.
In here, but she won't. Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. I feel bad for having this adult conversation with her.
Where's your tablet at? Go in the living room with grandma and grandpa till I finish, okay? Okay. All right, go ahead. I'm coming to get you. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Hey, look, I have a young nephew who has no concept of, hey, I'll be there to get you as well. So
Yeah.
I understand. But yeah, this one time in New Orleans, I remember I was at a party. I think it was a 4th of July party, one of them. And a cookout rather. And I'm sitting there minding my business, watching people play. I think it was playing spades or something. I don't play spades anymore. I retired from spades in when was it? High school. And so
You're not fooling with spades?
now I don't play spades no more, man. I don't be trying to, lose friendships or my life over some cards. There ain't even no money on the table. Not doing that. I'm not doing it. But there was this sister there, and all of a sudden, I guess she was feeling me because she was like throwing it at me, like she might as well have laid out and had with her legs spread eagle, because she was like leaned up on me and just like this, and I'm like, what are you doing? And for me personally, I don't mind you being forward, but that was a little too easy. And I might get in trouble for saying that because, in the age of whatever it is. But yeah, I felt like she was being too easy. Like, don't be so easy. You know what I mean? Especially if we haven't already established communication. Like, I never met this woman a day in my life. It was my first time seeing her. I wasn't even attracted to her, but apparently she was attracted to me, and she was hot and horny, and I was going to be the one that was going to take care.
What's she drinking?
She probably was. I don't know. I wasn't really paying that much attention to. I remember seeing her there at the cookout. It was at somebody's house, but I wasn't really paying enough attention to her to see all that she was doing. But I'm sure she was drinking just like we all were. you know? And so I was like, man, now granted, any other person, any other guy might have been like, yeah, well, shit, I'm about to take advantage of this.
Come on.
But I decided against it. I decided against it because one, like I said, I wasn't even attracted to her for real. And two, like something in me was like, well, if she's been this suggestive in this way, and you're not responding to her suggestions, then something's up. So I didn't follow through on it. I don't know where I don't even know her name.
What did your gut tell you?
Well, in that moment, I don't even think my gut, because like I said, I wasn't even attracted to her, you know, but
so, attracted to her, would you have done it?
Probably not. Okay. Even at that time, even though like that was like 2 years ago, I still was at a place in my spiritual awareness where I would have been like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't it. This ain't it. Cause like she didn't even flirt with me. She was just like
gave it to you.
Yeah, I'm like
whatever you want to do with it, it's yours. So another thing that women need to realize is just like we don't get hot and horny for certain men don't get hot and horny for us. You just explain that. You literally explain that. Like there are women who literally are throwing the pussy. I'm trying to think, did I ever throw the pussy? I probably did it in a real sassy way, but not like how this young lady did it. But I probably did. But I've been in a situation where a man didn't get hard, you know, and I had to, now that I think about it, I'm like, maybe his spirit wasn't attracted to me. Mm-hmm. Maybe he wasn't attracted to me like that, you know, like it goes both ways. And we have to understand, like, we all have to have the discipline of our sexual parts. Like I was explaining before, I have a friend who expressed to me that his mother said to him that her pussy ruled her life for like 10 years. Like she would move to the beat of her pussy, meaning whatever her pussy wanted, she did. So if it was a man that she knew she didn't like, but her pussy was attracted to him, she was going to do it with him. Like it had nothing to do with her heart. It had nothing to do with her mind. It was her pussy. Like she was leading the pack. And I can honestly say, like, there was a time where my pussy was leading the pack. Yes. Okay. Like she wanted what she wanted. She wanted it with who she wanted it with, and that was that. It was like a craving. Like when you have a craving for something, that's what was happening with my cooch. She wanted a craving for something. So when he said that to me, I had to sit back and think about that. Like, I gotta be in control of my body, and I have to be in control of this of my body. That means I have to be in control of my mind, my heart, my pussy also.
Well, let's talk about you probably know more about this stuff than myself. Let's talk about chakras for a second. So, what is it? What chakra governs the loin genital area? Is the sacral?
It's the sacral chakra.
Yeah, because the root is your foot.
The root is everything.
Okay.
Your chakra, and that is in control of your creativity, your womb. And what we don't understand is our womb holds everything. We create from there, we give birth from there. It's even though we need our root chakra, but we also need our sacral chakra. And look at the name of it. Look at the name of that chakra.
Yeah. Sacred.
It's sacred. Like, I'm not saying don't have sex. I'm saying be mindful of the people you have sex with, the people you allow to enter your womb area. Even from men, be mindful of the women that you give that dick to. It's sacred. The dick and the pussy is sacred, and we have to be mindful of that. That's why it's called the sacral chakra. And a lot of us are not in line with that. We are not in line with that chakra. I think a lot of us are not in line with that chakra. I was not in line. I didn't even know it was a chakra. Okay.
I mean, Absolutely. You know, and I even say down to when it comes to like oral sex. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to forget about my AGs and my studs out there. You know. um.
So
You know, and say again.
How does that work as a trans man? Like, have you had those times where it was just like, nah, I can't give Shorty, no, I can't give Shorty this head. Like, it's not happening.
Well, let me talk about prior to me being a trans man, you know, because I mean, well, essentially, sex essentially works the same for me now as it did back then. So, but it got to a point where I couldn't perform oral sex on a woman if I didn't have any type of emotional connection to her. Like, I didn't really enjoy it. It was almost like kissing. Like, I don't like kissing women that I don't have an emotional connection to. Yeah, or I have to like be so like sexually attracted to you that it doesn't feel like I got my mouth on something and there's fluid and it's just like feels like I'm laying truth or dare or something. You know, it's got to be like, it's either got to be like an emotional connection or I got to really be sexually attracted to you, like, for real. And I say, well, if I wouldn't go down on this woman, if I wouldn't kiss her in the mouth, then I'm not having sex with her.
Okay.
I can't do it. I just cannot do it.
So I've been the opposite.
Okay.
Like, I would give head before I put my mouth on a man's mouth. Like you said, I have to practice to him sexually, or it had to be an emotional connection. So I'm not a kisser. So if I kiss you, that means I am attracted to you sexually, or we have a real good connection. Seriously, like I at all. So if you kiss me, that means that the sex was some real good shit, or we had a real good connection.
Yeah. And I mean, also too, because over time when you take the distractions away, you start to really see things for what they are and how they should be in terms of what you're willing to tolerate. And you start looking at yourself a little more. So in the age of when I was Rolling Stone, I wasn't a very health conscious person. Like this health conscious person that people know me to be now, I was not even close. I was still eating whatever, eating like 3 wings, mumbo sauce, fried rice, French fries. Maybe I do it with gravy instead of mumbo sauce. Lo mein, fast food, like all the bullshit. I was eating junk food like chips and shit. I was still drinking soda, you know, and I was living fast. I've done some drugs, but you know, I wasn't like a big user of drugs, especially not hard drugs. You know, I smoked weed, but I wasn't even smoking as much as some of the people I've hung around my entire life. So, you know, that was never really much of an issue for me. And drinking, I wasn't drinking super hard, super heavily just yet. But as far as my diet, it was terrible. I wasn't exercising, nothing. You know, I wasn't fat, but I wasn't exercising. And as time went on and I started to slow down, I became more selective in the women that I would sleep with. Should actually had that same standard, held that same standard to the women I would date, but that's another topic for another day. But when I became more selective in the women that I would sleep with, and stop, I wasn't sleeping with as many women as often. I started to think like, dang, my diet changed. Like I went vegetarian back in like 2003, 2004. I started reading more about having just better eating habits. I started learning. I was working at Whole Foods, so I got hip to like the whole body section and all the stuff they sell in whole body. And I was like, what's this? What's this? Probiotics and this supplement and that supplement. And I was like, oh shit, okay. And that's when I realized that, hey, it's important to have a good pH balance because you yourself you could be off, and don't nobody want no tangy juices. And that's whether you got a vagina or a penis.
Okay,
Whatever fluid is coming out, should not be tangy. So, I always remember when I came up with the idea, tangy pussy. And I'm like, yeah, tangy pussy, it may not stink, but it got a little, just hit you right here. And, it's tangy. It's a little tangy. It's a little tangy. And so I'm sure the same thing, some concept of that, some version of that applies to men and the penises that, male people with the penises and what comes out of that,
About that? Can I talk about that?
You sure can. You sure can talk about what comes out of the penis and it being not balanced, not having a good pH balance.
Okay, so first we're going to talk about the female pH.
Okay.
Balance. So, ladies, like I said, I'm not a medical doctor, but this is what I use in my own life. And I don't just use this when my pH is off. I use this after my period. I use it when I refresh. So, most of us will buy a dish from like the dollar store, whatever discount store, but don't use this. What you can do is pour this shit out. It ain't no good. You can pour this out, wash the bottle out, and add some peroxide and some good tea tree oil. Now you got to get tea tree oil that is ingestible, not just when you go. It's topical. You need to put it internal inside your body. It will save you from the BV, from your pH being off, taking antibiotics. Get you some good tea tree and some peroxide. That'll keep your pH good, and you won't have that tangy foot.
Okay, well, so what's the ratio when you're mixing up the tea tree with the tea tree with the peroxide? Is it like 1-to-1, 2-to-2? What is like? It's a tablespoon, teaspoon?
So you put 20 drops of some good tea tree oil. This right here is doTERRA. I ordered this from their website. You could go there. No, I don't work for them. I just order it. It's very good. Or you could go to like a health food store and get Now. Now is the second best from this one right here. So what you'll do is empty all of this out, fill this up with peroxide, pure peroxide, no water, nothing else, and 20 drops of tea tree oil. Let it sit for like a good 5 minutes, let it marinate, and then squash like you would do a regular dish. Trust me. And also, steam y'all pussies. Like, y'all be on all day. Y'all see these people selling these little steam things. You don't even have. First of all, go get you some herbs and steam your own pussy. Whatever herbs that you feel connected to, steam your pussy with that.
How you what?
I'm not bringing a whole arsenal of things right now.
Okay, all right. They can go Google that how to steam.
Like, but has that on her website? And everybody's following like IG influencers, like all these. Somebody is selling something about steaming. Just Google yoni steaming. It'll come right up.
Oh yeah, the yoni steam.
Yes, it'll come
it's in the section right next to yoni eggs, right? Okay, all right. And also, people with vaginas, don't be like the Gorilla Glue sister and decide, oh, I ain't got no peroxide. I think it'll work with this. No.
Don't eat no synthetic tea tree oil. Don't be talking about Geronimo, your homegirl said. No, you cannot sue me. I just told you I'm not a medical doctor. This is what I use for myself. So please don't do that. And you also gotta eat. Like your diet cannot consist of just buffalo wings all day, every day. Sorry, you have to change up your diet. Like people, like I do go off the deep end sometimes, especially when it's Bread Man on tour. I want to eat a potato chip sometimes. I need that salt. But at the same time, we need to be mindful of what we put in our bodies. Like we have have to be mindful of what you put in your body. And no, pineapples is not the only thing you should be eating. You should be eating and drinking some good shit. I know I'm sitting here drinking some wine, but that's not an everyday thing. Fellas. Well, now we're going to talk about the fellas, right? Bad. I've had experiences where, what did I say? It's like milk, right? Like
spoiled milk.
And that's not even the real description of it. Like I can't really listen. I cannot really describe it. But I know that men who eat a lot of meat and don't take care of themselves, and men who eat a lot of dairy and don't take care of themselves, is bad. It's really, really bad. Nobody wants to swallow that. That shit is like, I don't know what battery acid tastes like, but it's probably that.
I don't think battery. I mean, not that I've ever drank battery acid, obviously, but I don't think battery acid can be compared to the taste of spoiled milk.
Bad semen is battery acid because you ain't supposed to swallow it. It shouldn't even be in your mouth. That's what I'm trying to say. It should not even be in your mouth. It's like, how do I leave from here and go in the bathroom and spit this shit out without being disrespectful? And sometimes you just gotta throw that shit out right there. Oh gosh, it's over. Fucking over. And you have to tell him, like, yo, like, change your eating habits. You eating wings,
lemon pepper wings, and washing it down with Hennessy,
or you drinking Casamigos, whatever.
And Casamigos.
Like, that shit affects us. Like, I'm gonna get a pimple on my forehead because you just ejaculated some bad sperm down my throat. Now I got a big ass pimple on my forehead. No, it's bad.
And again, that's all a part of the energetic transfer. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, okay, all right, I get it. Some people, they just don't know. They don't know what it consists. They don't know what it means to, you know, have a good diet, you know. And I also don't like to assume that everybody can go look it up or figure it out. Like, it took time. I'm the type of person I am, and so I made the effort to find out what I need to do to have a better diet, to make sure that I don't have an acidic body. You know what I mean? So I don't have an acidic body, and to make sure that, you know, I feel good. You know what I mean? Because me myself, the minute that my body feels acidic, I won't even have sex. Because I don't know what type of smells or what type of flavors. I don't know what's about to happen. And I know I talk way too much shit to be up here, and I'm a whole ass hypocrite. You dig what I'm saying? And so, but again, that's energy too, because it's like,
I'm gonna disclose some information.
Okay, go ahead.
I every day, I know somebody gonna look at this and be like, this lady is just nasty. No, this is me making sure that my body, especially my vagina, is well taken care of. I smell myself. I smell my panties. I not every day. Every day I smell my panties, but not every day do I stick a finger up in there and smell myself or taste myself. But I do that because if I can't eat it, I can't expect him to eat it. That's the dead honest truth. Because if my shit tastes bad, I can't be like, oh, he don't want to eat. No, he's not gonna eat this when my pH is off. No. So I have to be mindful of that.
Well, I know people with penises, especially straight men with penises, are not going to, you know, beat off and taste what comes out. At least they're not going to admit to it. But hey, maybe that's something you could do. You want to keep it to yourself, cool. But, you know, maybe that's something you could do. I don't know.
Men listen, we just spoke about porn. Men watch porn. They know, they see the difference in their semen. If you ejaculate and you see the difference in your semen, in a condom, in your hand, in a wash rag, in a towel, You can see the difference. You know when your body is off. Your body's gonna give you signs and signals when it's off. We just at times we just don't pay attention to it. Like I remember I used to have BV and I used to always be like, what the hell? Like what is going on? And then I was just that made me be mindful of my body because my people just off. And no, I wasn't having sex with random people. I was just off. Like my body was just off.
Yeah.
A lot of stress in my life and it was affecting me in my vagina. So I had to be mindful. I had to switch up my diet. I had to find remedies besides taking antibiotics because what we don't understand is an antibiotic will also throw our pHs off. And not just women, men also. Like people be like, oh, I'm just on an antibiotic. Yeah, but it's throwing you off. Even if it's for an ear infection, it can still throw the body off. An antibiotic is not the best thing. Shit, they give chicken antibiotics.
Exactly.
On wings right now.
Yes, and we can have a whole hour-long conversation about why chicken is the devil. Because it is.
Yeah, but we have to be mindful with our bodies. That's where the discipline comes in because when you're mindful about your body, you'll know. Like, you know what? I'm gonna be easy. I remember telling someone, don't have sex for 30 days. Just don't have sex for 30 days. Let your body cleanse itself out. Do a little juice cleanse for like 3 days. Eat clean and just relax. Like, don't release. Don't watch porn. Don't do nothing. Don't release. Don't jerk off. Don't do none of that. And they laughed at me like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, I'm serious. See what happened to your body in those 30 days. This Ramadan was like one of the hardest Ramadans for me because I'm in a relationship. Was the hardest shit for me. But I had to be disciplined in my body. Like, it's not just for the religion, it was for me. The sex was greater after the 30 days, I ain't gonna lie. But yes, it was freaking hard.
Okay.
And not an easy task to, even if you only do it for 7 days, give your body a rest. Don't do anything. Eat clean and give your body a rest, and you will see how much energy. Just forget about anything else. Your stamina is gonna rise. Like you're gonna want to bust some ass, really bust some ass.
Nah, absolutely. And you know, a lot of times people you see those types of what do they call it, like a semen challenge, a 3-day semen challenge, man. But you know, the same thing women can do too. You know what I mean? Women can, you know, hold out for 30 days and you know, and really, like you said, see the changes in your thought processes, see the changes in your energy level and things like that. You made me think of, as you were talking, especially as you mentioned porn again. We won't name his name, but I know there's a particular black male porn star who you are not a fan of his work.
I'm not. I really feel like he's just fucking to be fucking. Like he gives me that one night stand type shit. Like I just want to bust a nut. Like I don't care if what happens with her. I want to bust a nut and 15. I'm kicking her out type shit.
But the times that you've seen him have sex with his wife, because his wife is also in the industry.
It was the beautiful thing that I saw because now I understand the dynamic of why he does what he does. But at first, I just was like, I can't watch him. He's dry. It was worse than watching white porn. And let's not say white porn. Let's say the black porn where the guy comes in and just starts sucking his dick. There's no dialogue, like nothing. You just sucking dick.
Oh, so you like to see some erotica? You need to see a little bit of.
My imagination needs to go. Like I don't know about anybody else, but I need something to get my imagination going. Like let me learn something new so I can do what I got. Like you can't just get to the business. Now I've been in situations where we just got straight to the business and it wasn't somebody that, like I said, those people that you shouldn't be with, but y'all still have sexual relations. Mm. It doesn't work. Like I said, if I'm in that type of mode, like nothing is really happening. I want to get off and get out or I want to leave right after. Like, I just want to wipe myself with a wipe and I want to leave.
Well, let's tie all this up into soul ties, because we didn't really get into that, and how I said everything is energy, from the tangy juices, that bad diet, and shit, even just what's going on within you spiritually can potentially create some tangy juices and some other shit. To just who these people are as people, and whatnot, but and being mindful of all these things when you lay down with somebody, because there's soul ties, and some people think, oh, that's bullshit. It ain't that serious. Whatever.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to the guy said that I asked the universe to reveal his true intentions, and that it did. And this is gonna go right into soul ties. Had I had sex with this man, I would have taken in all of his anger, all of his pain, all of his hurt, and all of his trauma. That's what was revealed to me when I asked the universe to show me what was going on. Now, had I done that, I would have been in a very toxic relationship with him, because his energy was strong, but it was wicked.
Yeah.
And that is not a soul tie that anybody wants to be caught up in, man or a woman. And women say, well, a man doesn't know. Yes, a man you yourself would know, Geronimo, if a woman's spirit is no good. You will, you will
I
literally
pick up on it.
feel their energy. Like, it's something that we give off. Even if you're not trying to give it off, it comes off. And sometimes some of us can pinpoint what it is, and other times it needs to be revealed to us. Now, I knew something was off with him. I just didn't know what. It eventually was revealed to me why nothing moved past us laying in a bed together, because of all the shit that he was holding inside. And I wasn't holding on to that. So my body allowed me to, nah, this ain't right. So that soul tie, I'm so grateful that that energy didn't enter my body, because I've been dealing with that.
Mm-hmm. So I've reached a point where, unless I know like this is the type of thing that you're about, you are about, you have a certain level of spiritual awareness, and as well as holistic practices for yourself. I will not sleep with you unless I know like you have cut whatever souls, because I'm talking to you, like I want to know, like, tell me about you, and I'm also like observing and everything like that, and especially if you tell me about people you've dealt with in the past and things like that, and it's like, okay, well, I'm hearing it, and like I know I have very good deductive reasoning. I'm a listener, and I'm very analytical, and I'm going to observe. I'm going to tell people, I will Sherlock Holmes a whole situation, and
that's at Carfax with people.
Yes, and so
that's with that.
I think for me, I got to know that you are really taking care of yourself, not only physically, but that internal health, that womb health, things like that. You know what I mean? Like if I know, okay, and actually having this conversation made me think, okay, boom, I'm gonna do a 30-day situation, because it's been a while since I've done that. But yeah, if I know, I need to know that for me to feel comfortable, because again, where I am spiritually, what I know, I'd be playing myself and hurting myself, and potentially, depending on how my ancestors are feeling, I might get some backlash from them, like, oh, you know better, what you doing, and so I have to be mindful. So, I wanted you to talk about ways in which a womb can be cleansed, and or how you can break a soul tie or something like that. You know what I mean? Because I know what I did. Well, let me talk about what I did. So the way in which I broke my soul ties through all my that I accumulated through all my sexual encounters and situationships is I shut myself down for 2 years, like 2, 3 years. Like I shut myself down, like no, and this is my first time ever really coming out with this publicly. Like I was not having sex for years. I wasn't in a relationship. I wasn't dating. People was like trying to give me the things like nah. But that happened before this happened. I mean, this happened after I was on that type. That's something else. But when I made it like, okay, I'm not dating. I'm not having sex because something is wrong. As a matter of fact, what was it? It was because of my one experience with a certain person whose name I will not name in New Orleans. I said to myself, okay, something is wrong. I need to fix it because this keeps happening, and I am tired of this happening. So I just shut myself down. I wasn't feeling nobody. I ain't like nobody. I couldn't even tell you the last time I didn't have any type of interest or anything in anybody. I was like, I'm here doing other things. And I focused on whatever internal healing I had. I always did spiritual baths and things like that. And of course, a spiritual bath could be made up of all types of different things. It doesn't necessarily even have to be anything elaborate. It could be as simple as some Epsom salt and a bay leaf. But I've done and a candle. I've done the elaborate ones and I've done the simple ones. But I did all that for a couple years, and before I reached a point where I was like, okay, I think I'm ready now. I think I'm ready to get back out there and start doing my thing. But because I took that time, that I went on hiatus like that to clear up all those soul ties and whatnot, I now can move better than I did before, when I was just like, oh, I'm gonna just get with her. I'm gonna get with her. I'm gonna get with her. I'm gonna get with her. Oh, she's cool. Oh, da 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 da. It's like, what else is going on beneath the hood? What's going on beneath the hood? So that Carfax reference, you got to run the Carfax. And now I have the ability. Before it was just a social Carfax. Like, let me see who they know. Now it's a whole like energetic, spiritual Carfax, and eventually I'll be able to get to the point of an ancestral Carfax. But I'm not there yet. But I'm gonna get there. So again, to you, ways in which, especially for women, how or just in general, whatever, however you want to do it, but ways in which people can cleanse their womb and cut soul ties from accumulated bodies.
So one, you have to sit with yourself and be honest. Meaning, write down all your encounters. So one of the things I did when I started healing from my sexual encounters is I wrote all the names. It was shameful and it was embarrassing, but I wrote it down. Secondly, what I did, I forgave myself, because some of those sexual encounters were encounters. That's what they were. They were just encounters. They were with people who I had no attachment to, nothing. I had nothing for them. But like I said, I was leading with my pussy. My pussy was in control of everything. So I had to get in alignment with my pussy. Meaning I had to open up my heart and I had to open up my mind to like be in control of it. Another thing that I had to do was I had to start taking spiritual baths. I had to be mindful of the things that I put inside my body. And also, like you, I had to shut down. Like I literally shut myself down. My last 2 semesters, like when I was getting my degree, I literally shut myself down. I remember telling you, like, I'm over this. Like, I have no connection. Like, Nothing was happening. My coochie wasn't doing nothing. And for women, we get that little thump in our pussies. I don't know if men get that, but I know for a woman, I get that. Like if I see a man and I'm attracted to him, that thing may happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely, that happens.
Huh?
It happens to everybody.
But I don't know. Like I've never heard a man say that. So I know as women, we speak about that. Like I speak to my girls and we talk about that. You know, it's an ongoing joke. Like if it don't jump, don't fuck with him. That's an ongoing joke. So I had to literally shut myself down and like I had to completely be honest. And then I just started like reading different books. I started doing research on like, you know, how to get my home intact. What worked for me may not work for everybody. So one of the things that I will say is I did read the Queen of Fua Sacred. The book is sitting right here, but Google Queen of Fua. She does have a lot of information.
Show the people the book.
Come on, where is the book?
Oh, I thought it was right there.
Oh, because that was one of the things. Remember, I said I'm not gonna bring the whole arsenal of things out. So that was one of the things that I did out, but it's in here somewhere.
What's the name? What's the name of the book again?
Google Queen. Just Google Queen of Fua. It's okay. All that's gonna come up, and just go with what feels right for you. Because, like I said, what felt right for me may not feel right for you. But I do swear by peroxide and tea tree oil. I do not put antibiotics in my body. I don't put yogurt in my body. I don't do that. No, because women get yeast infections and they put yogurts in their body. I mean, that is a natural way, but don't use the medicine, and then after it clears up, get you some peroxide and some tea tree oil. Like
you said, use the white people medicine.
Use the Western medicine.
Oh,
the 7 or whatever your doctor prescribes, and then after that, 3 days after that, then go get you some peroxide and tea tree oil. But I honestly say, as a woman, give yourself a week. Give yourself 7 whole days to not do anything. And I ain't talking about when it's your period. Not just when it's your period. Do it right before your period. Go into your period and you come out. Let's just say that's a whole 10 to 14 days that you haven't had no contact with no penis. You were eating clean, you were juicing, you were doing things. Like I did a lot of cleansing. I did a lot of juicing. I did a lot of like clean eating to be right here. But you gotta shut the pussy down at some point. You can't allow the pussy to always lead. You gotta shut that shit down.
Especially these days, because again, you don't know where these people been. You don't know what they got. I believe in people having spiritual monkeys on their backs.
Feel it. I don't like people be like, "Oh no, you can't feel it. I'm not that in tune." Listen, you know what your body is telling you. I don't care who you are. That's like people when they get cancer. Somebody will be like, "Well, I felt something was going on. I just didn't know what it was." Like I said, and you may not be able to articulate what it is, but you know when something is off. Just like when you're in a relationship with another individual, if something is off, you're gonna feel it. So the same way you watching ID investigation, the ID investigation about your body.
Bottom line. And again, my last word again to masculine people.
To be in control of your own genitals.
Yes, like you can't just be
controlling you.
Forget the body count. Forget having all the look, yes, get your experience. But I'm here to tell you, I learned after 10. I was like, wait, really? Is it really that much different from person to person? Because for real, and this is a whole other conversation because I've only ever been with Black women. We are, a lot of us are coming out of this prudishness now, wanting to try different things and really explore our sexualities and please our partners in more fulfilling ways. But for the most part, especially 25 years ago, I mean, it was a little bit of variety, but it wasn't that much variety in the experiences. So it's like, again, you're not really missing out on nothing. And if you care about yourself enough as a masculine person and understanding your masculinity and that goes beyond presentation and performance in terms of social performance, how you show up in the world and the way that you act and behave. I'm talking about masculinity and how you show up in life and maneuver and know where you stand and who you are and the power, not dominance, but power that you represent, that you possess. That's how I see it now. I wish I would have seen it like that then. However, I was very unsure of myself back then, and I did a lot of things that showed that. And I believe that even the people who, from a performance standpoint, in terms of like how they may act or things like that, they are unsure of themselves as well, and may do things that try to overcompensate for that. And so say again.
We as people, and I'm going to say this in general, not placing anybody in this, we use our sex to fill voids at times.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes back. We use our sexual tools to fill voids, because once we have that climax, that void is still there.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be filling voids with sex or any type of intimacy. So when we say discipline, it's not just discipline in the genital, it's discipline in the mind and discipline in the heart. So when you can get the mind and the heart discipline, that sacral chakra is going to blossom. If you haven't that now, just imagine if you get in alignment with yourself. Sex is going to be great, especially if you're in alignment with your partner. That's even better.
And men and women, but especially women, because you done told me some stuff about how we talking about chakras. Get that throat chakra working and say what it is that you want, what pleases you, what you don't like. Look,
if you like a finger in your ass, tell him you want a finger in your ass. If he don't want to do it, guess what? Somebody else will do it.
Yeah, and brothers and whoever else who's a masculine person, like, don't let your ego be bruised to the point where you kirk out, want to lay hands or curse somebody out, be disrespectful because a woman done told you she ain't feeling something, or if you sleep with men, a man told you he not into something. You know what I mean? Like everything isn't for everybody. However, especially if you're in a relationship with somebody, it's important to take those cues, because the sex could be better, and that enhances the relationship. You know what I mean? Like, who doesn't want to have the best sex possible? It's not a diss to you. You're not a mind reader. Just like she might not know everything that you like, you don't know everything that she likes. And also, if there is something you like, especially, same thing for men. If there's something that you like,
Tell us.
Like, if you want to have, you like to have the ears licked while, you're hitting it missionary style or something. I'm making up stuff, but say that like, yeah, I just want you to lick my ear. Yeah, lick my ear or whatever. I don't know. Whatever your thing is. Say it. You know what I mean? And if it's a genuine connection, you know what I mean? And she, both of y'all are open to it. Like, y'all can do it. Y'all can have some, like, and it's between y'all. Like, we don't have to know. The world don't have to know. You know what I mean? Because I know a lot of times, like, especially for masculine people, it's like, oh, that shit gay.
It's not gay. Like, listen, whatever your preference is not gay. Whatever you do in your bedroom is not gay. That's what you do in your bedroom. That's what you do to please yourself and to please your partner. It's not gay. I wish people would stop saying that. Everything is not fucking gay.
Like, if you are a man having sex with a woman, if you're not having sex with a man, it's not gay. And nothing's wrong with that. But it's not, if you're not gay, you're not gay. If you're not having sex with a man, you're not gay.
Pause.
Okay.
Pause. We're in New York. Well, I'm in New York, so pause.
No homo.
No homo, right?
All I didn't get it at first. I was like, pause. What's somebody in the room? Like, oh, pause.
The worst shit ever. If you're not gay, you don't need to say no homo or pause.
Exactly. And it's very much a New York thing. I don't hear a lot of guys outside of New York saying no homo and pause. So that's. Oh, you giving me all these topics of things I could think about that we could talk about later in another time, because that's something we could get into, like this fixation on pause and no homo. Thanks, Dame Dash. But anyway, tell the people where they can find you. No. Before you do that, yes, and I'm putting the spot on you. Put you on the spot. Tell people what's coming up. What's that coming down the pipeline for Robyn Ransome, Earthy Hood Joint?
Okay, so why you have to do this to me, Geronimo?
Hey, you know what happens. Hey, I'm not going to treat you any different than anybody else that comes on my show.
All right, so at this present point, I am in the groove of cooking. I will be cooking, selling real food to nourish your body, tonics, teas, steamers, all that good stuff. You can find me on IG. I don't have a Facebook. I only have one IG page, and it's Earthy Hood Joint. Some days I post, some days I don't, but you will get a laugh, or you will look at it and be like, damn, all right, I gotta go think about some shit. But that's who I am, and that's what I'm doing.
All right, so there it is. Y'all know where y'all find me. Again, I'm like her. Some days I post. My stories are the most active right now. My social life's a little dry. I don't be going nowhere here in Charlotte, so it's not too much.
Due to COVID, we ain't going nowhere. I'm not around people.
Well, that's not why I'm not going nowhere. But yeah, my feed is kind of dry, but my stories be popping. That's
get at her. Get at him. Let's go.
Yeah. So there's that.
Don't get at me.
Don't get at her. You can get at me. But do know I'm gonna run that spiritual Carfax on you. And if that's something you got an issue with, don't get at me.
That Carfax is real for years.
It is real. It is real. So there's that. So y'all, thanks again. If y'all going outside, be safe. And if you're not going outside, be safe. Be safe. Be safe though. Period.
Have sex. Have sex.
Safe sex and good sex. Best sex you could possibly have. Okay. We out.
All right. Have a good one.